today. I appreciate the opportunity. If y'all would give you a hand for helping put this on. Now I got Jessica and Lindsay jumped on the campaign earlier.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. I thank y'all for going on. I appreciate it.
We appreciate you running.
And we appreciate the two representatives here and your seniority. So with that commitment, once you read that book, there's a second book. We're going to get you the second book. And you'll be good to go. All right. Y'all got this last week, didn't you? Stimulus package letter. Stimulus package. Y'all know how ridiculous the stimulus package was?
Yes.
$42 million worth.
They're going to borrow the money from China, Saudi Arabia. They're going to pass it out. And one night I was sitting there, I just happened to be flipping through C-SPAN, and Dr. Peter Orzog, he's the head of the Government Accounting Office, and it was a Senate hearing, and they were explaining how you stimulate the economy. And whether we like it or not, the way to stimulate the economy is you actually have to put cash into the economy. To put cash in the economy, there's two ways to do it. The one way is you increase food stamps or give unemployment benefits. Once Congress and the Senate, everybody passed this deal, within 60 days there would have been real money stimulating the economy. He said the one thing you don't want to do is what we did in 2003. You don't want to give rebates. You don't want to give money back. So that, of course, what did Congress choose to do? Congress did what wasn't directed to do. Because what happens, these checks won't go out until May, June, July. And when you get money given back in that form, it won't be until the holiday season. It won't be until Christmas in 2008 before any of this stimulus actually gets into the economy. Let's forget that it was borrowed and everything else, but when y'all watch the video, $345 million, almost double this package, is just from the people cheating the IRS today that would be put into the package. That's another way. So putting this in place doubles this with real money put back in because everybody's paying their fair share. And then also, if you look at the $400 million that everybody pays, all the corporations pay, all the expenses every year to figure out if we put in this new line in the restaurant, this new line in the plant, all the investment, what's the tax consequences? Should we get out of the country? We spend $400 million a year doing just that alone. That would be $400 million that would be put into it. So right there, we could double, triple, quadruple this with actual real money. And then once you do that, then the $10, $12 trillion that everybody has offshore hiding their money would all come back. It only makes sense. But I want to commend each one of you for looking at this. Do you realize how hard and difficult this is going to be? Because most politicians, the only way they get elected is because they have a lever. And the lever is class warfare. You know, the biggest beneficiary is the poor. The poor doesn't look at this. They won't look at this. The Democratic Party doesn't want to sell this to anybody because it makes them less important. Not everybody in the Democratic Party, but across the party when we're creating class warfare. And everybody, it's a great soundbite. We're going to go after the richest 1%. Go after the richest 1%. You shouldn't go after anybody. You shouldn't go after the poor, and you shouldn't go after the richest 1%. Everybody ought to pay their fair share. And this would do it. The drug dealers, the prostitutes, all the underground economy, they'd all have to pay. And it really does work. Everybody would pay. And if you're struggling, if you've had it kind of hard, you don't have to go out and buy clothes. You don't have to go out and buy anything. If you want to pick up a second job, you're trying to put one of your children through school, you don't get penalized because it doesn't put you in a new tax break. If you don't spend the money, you don't pay taxes, and that's the way it ought to be. The government shouldn't know how much money you make. It's not the government's business. So it's a great idea, and I got to admit, I've converted. You know, I've started 4 years ago. I was with Forbes. I was for a flat tax. I wasn't that aware of this, that this is a progress, but it's going to be very difficult. And this is one of the biggest things that can help illegal immigration. You know, this goes hand in hand on the illegal immigration idea. But right now, everybody's aware of all the illegal immigration problems, whether it's public safety, the schools, the hospitals, wherever. That's in your face. And no one wants to do anything about it. They won't address that. So this is one in the background that gives me power as an elected official. This is going to be difficult. And I was telling Jessica earlier, I went to the fair tax people a couple months ago and asked them. I said, what are y'all doing about the Senate candidates, the congressional candidates, the people who are going to go to Washington that can actually pass Senate Bill 25? Well, we're not doing a whole lot with them. We're worried about tax day on the 15th because that's a big PR day. We're worried about the presidential election. I said, well, I'm not telling you how to do it, but just some suggestions. Once Huckabee's out of the race, there ain't a presidential candidate going to talk about the fair tax. So that's half your thing. And the other thing, the 15th is going to come and go. And right now there's 30 or 35 Senate seats in the country up. And I'm not sure how many Senate candidates are out there or supporting the fair tax. I said, y'all got to get involved. Help get elected officials. At least on your website say, this is a fair tax supporter. Lindsey Graham doesn't support the fair tax. Jim DeMint supports the fair tax. Just educate the people. There's an interesting site. It's called Numbers USA. And it's very involved in illegal immigration. And they're watching 3 Senate races in the country. There's one in Illinois, there's one in Utah, and one in South Carolina. And they've deemed me as a reform candidate on illegal immigration or on immigration issues. And in fairness, Buddy Witherspoon has also been said as a reform candidate. And if you go back, if it wasn't for Congressman Spratt in South Carolina, Lindsey has a 22 or a 23% approval rating on immigration issues. Spratt has a 19. Congressman Clyburn has a 19. Spratt's 34. But even Gresham Barrett, he has a 99% approval rating. He has the highest rating of any person in the entire study. So don't tell me that you got 2 people in the upstate, that you have Lindsey at the bottom and Gresham at the top. So, but all that, I kind of went off on a different. I'm good at going off on different ways. No. But what I'm saying is, the fair tax people, when y'all talk to the people, your leaders, your state, get involved. Come up with some kind of a grading scale to help in this election process. So with that, a lot of y'all, I appreciate y'all standing out there. Appreciate y'all getting cold, waiting for me to show up. But I've already talked about legal immigration, all that other stuff. But if any of y'all have any questions, I'd be happy to take any questions at this time. Okay, thank you. I appreciate it.